Hello everyone, you're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and in this video, I want to talk about storing your water on concrete. I was watching the Trifecta live stream last night between the Lord Humongous and Reality Survival and Prepping and Prepper Logic. That's Eric, JJ, and Shay. They were talking about the 10 things you should do after the crap hits the fan, and those guys are some veteran preppers. They know what they're talking about, and they shared some great information. And there was a lot of great talk in the live chat underneath. I strongly suggest you guys go and check that out and see what was getting talked about. Now, in just a brief part of the conversation, the Lord Humongous, Eric, mentioned that he's heard people talking about how water being stored in plastic on a concrete floor can leach chemicals into the water over time, and that he wants to get some research on this because he sort of doubts that that's the case. And in the conversation, they sort of seemed to decide that they thought that this was from BPA. But I do want to chime in and share that there is a difference between just concrete and a garage slab. Garage slabs and a lot of interior concrete tend to be sealed in petrochemicals and different things. A garage sealer or a concrete sealer, which is very different than just your basic concrete slab from outside. You'll notice that most concrete is a little porous, but your garage slab is polished and has a sheen. And aside from this, it'll tend to have some gasoline, motor oil, antifreeze, and anything else that might have been spilt during the lifespan of that garage floor. Aside from this, houses have a surprising amount of formaldehyde and other chemicals floating in the air. I was at a construction supply conference a few years ago when I was working in the industry, and one company was coming out with a brand of drywall that actually absorbs formaldehyde. I think it has some carbon in it, specifically because of the measurable amounts of formaldehyde that exist in especially new houses, but in any of the products that we bring home into our houses. This is already a concern, but it's also a concern for preppers who are storing things in their houses for extended periods of time where those things might be exposed to those chemicals and have an accumulation effect. Now, I don't have the research on whether or not garage sealant or formaldehyde or various other things get into plastic bottles, but you can bet that the manufacturers are going to use the most porous and or cheapest plastic that they can when they're manufacturing buckets or bottles. And there are things smaller than a water molecule that could potentially just pass right through a permeable barrier. Again, I can't make any guarantees on what the permeability of plastic to petrochemicals like garage sealers are, but I just wanted to point out that there are definitely differences between a raw concrete slab and your average garage floor slab. And that needs to be taken into consideration when you're storing things on it. If all you have to do is put some cardboard or a thin sheet of wood between your water and your concrete slab, that's a small price to pay to avoid getting chemicals in your water that you might not be able to detect and which may or may not be pretty hazardous. I know I don't want to be drinking garage sealer, so I put the barrier between the two. Those are my thoughts. I'd definitely be interested if there's research, and that's actually something I'm already looking into with my PrepperMint test, just how permeable some materials are to very small molecules. Anyways, I hope that was an interesting thought. I hope we do get some good information on this, and I hope you'll stay tuned with Let's Talk About Prepping for future videos. Stay safe out there.